Hey, yo, welcome back, guys.
Hello, hello. How's it going? How's everybody doing? You know,
Episode two. Episode two. I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. It's your boy Big J, and
Crafty Fox.
and we're here. Let's go. So, last episode was pretty fun. I gotta admit, I enjoyed it, and if I wasn't getting tired at the end, we probably could have won another hour or two.
I feel that. So, last episode was very interesting, but then last night I was listening to this video as I was going to sleep. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is a fabulous idea. And I messaged Jay and I was like, cold cases that have been recently solved. So then this morning I was like, sound good? And he's like, bet. And so here we are. We're doing some awesome catching up on these true crime cases that haven't been solved in years. I mean, as an example of one that we'll go over today is the Somerton man, which is a man that didn't even have an identity for 70 years, guys. 70 years. Not a
Wow,
name. Not a name. So they
that's
just recently figured out who he was. They don't
let's get
have
it.
a cause of death yet, but we'll get there. I got really, I know, right? I was like, man, at least the man's got a name now. All right. Well, first we're going to start off with the Delphi murders that happened. Now, moving forward, obviously there are some words that won't be said. I am also not going to condone or show the murderer's face at all, because in my mind and in what I believe is, and I'm sure that Jay will back me up,
Yes,
the moment that you show their face, the more that it's like hyping them up. It's that notorious thing that a lot of murderers really look for, which
right.
I'm not going to sit there and support. If I'm going to show anybody's faces, it'll be the victims, because they deserve to have a face behind what had happened to them.
Right. I agree.
So, now let's get into it. Let me make sure that I also update my bot. My bot was all like, "Oh, she posted a video," and I'm over here like, "Why you gotta be like this?"
Look at all these beautiful people coming in. Let's go. How's everybody doing? Are y'all excited? Are y'all hyped? Are y'all frightened? Are y'all scared? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, let me. Let's get on into it. I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. So, getting into the Delphi murders, there was a suspect that was charged in killing 2 teenage girls. These poor girls, since they were minors, do we want to say their names? I mean, there is a name to the victims.
I'll wait.
Okay. So,
Safety purposes.
right. So, an Indiana man, and I'm not going to even say his name either, because he does not deserve to be, his name doesn't deserve to be said, and his face does not deserve to be up here. So, an Indiana man has been arrested for the 2017 murders of 8th graders that are, yep, one was 13 and one was 14. The state police superintendent, Doug Carter, announced at a news conference Monday that this had happened. The best friends went on a hike. So they decided after work or after school, they were like, it sounds good. Yeah, most of the time they do get altered for children. They did release the names in the news of the children, but I want to give the family some privacy. So these 2 best friends decided, it's after school, let's go for a hike. It would be fun. And so what happened was they went on a hiking trail in rural Delphi when they were killed in the middle of the day on February 13th, 2017. Just two, sweet babies pulled too soon. Let me make sure I'm also on Do Not Disturb. I don't want any more disruptions. Aurora, really? She's just flashing everybody. It's all right. The shocking slayings cast fear across the small Indiana town and garnered national intrigue. This marks the first time a suspect has been named in the mysterious double murder. Police still have not released how the girls were killed, so we do not have a cause of death. And they want to ask if anyone has any information and tips to submit it to their hotline or their email. If you are in Indiana and you know of this murder and you do have information, please go ahead to please look up the information and give them that information. That would be a big help to the police. So the grandmother of one of the victims and guardian was surprised to learn that the man arrested for the murders of the two girls was a Delphi resident. He was somebody that everybody was like, I think it was either the grandmother or the grandfather, from what I heard last night, said to one of the family members, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing that is right here in our town. We know him. We know who it is. And they've got to be here. So after much time has crossed, how can somebody do that and then just go on living life like nothing happened? This person, by the way, also used to go to a town bar, and the murderer, I'm not even going to say person, this murderer used to go to the town bar and actually asked to sit next to the wanted poster of there was a like sketch of him.
Oh my God.
And he would sit next to it, and he would sit there and talk to everybody else and in the bar and be like, oh, I wonder who that is. We really got to find him. Da, 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 da. Trying to act like he wasn't part of it, but he kept bringing it up every time. So, even one of the victim's sisters said that they always felt like the girl's killer must be someone familiar with the Delphi area. I would have to agree. Not even now, like if I had seen this case before now, I would have had to agree, because it's a hiking trail. Who would just by chance come by a hiking trail and try to, like, obviously there are people out there, but this person, from what I heard, didn't even show up with like a truck or anything. They just kind of showed up on the hiking trail out there with the girls. So they had to have known the area well enough to be able to traverse it and get home. She didn't want to believe that the suspect was right here among us, is what the sister would say. So one of the girls, I think, guardian's grandfather, commented to the police officers, who said they were diligent and sacrificed their own family time to work on his granddaughter's case. Yeah, it was his granddaughter. They never let up. So the police never gave up. They kept trying and trying. There's a lot of questions we have that are unanswered. The grandfather added, but all in due time will come. That's such like a hard thing to hear, but also like absolutely sweet and patient. Like he's like, I've got faith. We're gonna figure this out, but at least we got somebody. For one of the victim's sister, the arrest brings new obstacles and emotions that we have to learn how to deal with. So this is another reason why it's a good idea that we don't bring the families' names out. They really need to have their time of healing.
Exactly.
So the police had more than 70,000 tips that were submitted since the murders in 2017. 70,000. That's a lot of tips to have to wade through. The eyes of America were on this case. So the superintendent said that the community was wonderful. It's like so many other American towns. You can only imagine, because this is this very small town. It's like one of those cases that you hear rocks, small town USA. We committed a long time ago this day would come. That was the superintendent that believed that evil never wins, he added. As for the girls' families, the grandfather said, the superintendent said that I wish that I could take their hurt away, but I can't. The superintendent also would not talk about the suspect or what led police to him. After actually seeing a sketch of him and of like him in the actual, they caught a picture of him. I saw this on a video last night in the same outfit that somebody said that they saw coming from that area. So it's insane that this killer was so bold to have worn the same hat, have the same beard going on, everything. It's just so bold. So this the suspect has been charged with the girls' murders. His initial hearing he had his initial hearing and entered a not guilty plea, but the let's see here. He was taken into custody on October 26th of this year and is being held at a jail. I'm not going to say which one. And officials said he's being held without bond and is set to return to court in January. I have to agree. A lot of murderers are very bold if they know they can't get caught. I agree with you. There's a few examples of that with either Ted Bundy or even Jack the Ripper. So per the court date, we cannot talk about the evidence that is in the probable cause, which is good. You can't spoil the evidence. And the prosecutor, I'm so sorry, would not say that the suspect became a suspect or if he knew the girls. The prosecutor said it's concerning, quote unquote, to him that the suspect is a local Delphi resident and called the arrest a step in the right direction. So it's just absolutely, it's heartbreaking. These poor little girls just, it at the time of the murders, the suspect was 30 and now he is 50. It took so long, but at least these girls are finally getting justice.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. All things come to light, and it's just unfortunate what happened to all of those. But justice always prevails.
Sometimes it may have to take a while, but we get there.
Yes,
Now
I agree.
let me make sure I have the name correct on this so that I can search it. So that is our first case. And we are going to move on to our next case. I really have been interested in this case for a hot minute. It's always been something that lived in my mind rent-free back here. Is the Somerton Man's case. So this one I will show photos because he, he's someone that was around back in, I think it was the 50s. He is not a minor, obviously, and there's also sketches of him out there so people could, what's the word I'm looking for? So people could help.
Right.
So on a beach, 1948, on Australia's beaches, and scientists are close to solving his mystery. So, as I said before, we do not have a an exact
Uh-oh. So, how's everybody doing? Yeah, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Um, so, yeah, how's everybody doing? We'll do a quick Q's and A's until she's able to join back. And it seems like she's back. Welcome back.
I'm telling you, you guys, it's absolutely insane that I was just trying to sit here and show something, and then all of a sudden it was like, you know what? No, we're going to have a problem, apparently. So let's try this again, shall we? All right. Are we gonna make it?
It don't seem like your PC wants that. They don't want it. Your PC's like, don't do it. We don't want you to do it.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? If worst case scenario, I might have to like give you the link or something to the cases where if this keeps on going like this. So
don't leave it in my
that's
hands.
where so this before we go into any kind of detail, I thought that this was absolutely amazing, and this goes to show you guys how much amateur sleuthing can actually pay off. So just like me, where this case has lived rent-free back here, there was an individual that doesn't do this for profession, just wanted to get answers for this individual that passed away. And he ended up doing decades of his life trying to figure out who this man was. And the thing is that, you know, the biggest part was they paid for an updated painting, a digital art of the Somerton Man. And when they went to the life casting, they found out that there were 5 strands of hair on the casting mask, and 3 were viable to do a DNA check. To remind you guys, 1948 did not have a lot of DNA testing and cross-analyzation of, you know, what we have today. So as time has gone on, a lot of these cold cases are being solved because they're able to either go back through and check DNA and, you know, figure out, you know, either the killer or who this person is connected to. So this amateur sleuth took Somerton Man's DNA, the 3 viable strands of hair, and also not only getting the DNA from them, but also went to somebody that could cross analyze and make a family tree for the Somerton Man and see who in the database is connected to this individual, because there's got to be someone missing them. So that's how the Somerton Man finally got his name. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to show an actual picture of him as we talk about him, like the really good digital representation. Let's do that one. There we go. So, to start with, the children know the man whose portrait hangs above their playroom door as Mr. S. or Mr. Somerton. His real name remains a mystery for more than 70 years after he was found dead in a smart brown suit on an Australian beach, a half-smoked cigarette resting on his collar. That is just crazy to me. He was just chilling there, and all of this led to a 70-year mystery. So this is the kids assumed he's a distant relative, but he could be a stranger whose story has fascinated their father for more than a decade. University of Adelaide, going to hope that I said that correctly. Professor Derek Abbott first heard about the Somerton Man in 1995 and has spent several years campaigning for his body to be exhumed so scientists can analyze his DNA to determine his identity. So only recently did they finally grant that exhume for this man. Let's bring him up a little bit closer. He deserves to have his face shown. So, not any time before just now, this year, did they exhume the body, try to do DNA testing, because, I mean, it's a long, drawn-out process. I don't know if anybody knows about the process of what it takes, but you have to basically go to a judge, and you have to ask and give a good probable cause of why we should exhume the body and do testing. And every time Professor Abbott tried, just got shot down every time. So the exhumation finally happened last month in the city's West Terrace Cemetery. And this is based off from an article Oh, wow. It was actually not this year. It was last year that it was recently updated. So May 31st, 2021 is this article. So the exhumation finally happened last month in the city's Terrace Cemetery. So that would mean April of 2021, this man was exhumed.
You hear some kind of beeping going on?
Yeah, it's my cat's box. So, where the Somerton man was buried in 1949 under a headstone marked the unknown man. So for 70 years, this individual is only known as the unknown man. At the gravesite, South Australia, not Austria, South Australia Police Detective Superintendent Des Bray told reporters the exhumation was about much more than closing the file on one of Australia's most intriguing cases. It's important for everybody to remember the Somerton man is not just a curiosity or a mystery to be solved. It's somebody's father, son, perhaps grandfather, uncle, or brother, and that's why we're doing this and trying to identify him, Bray said. There are people we know that live in Adelaide. Yeah, I think that was the right pronunciation instead of what I said earlier. They believe they may have been related, and they deserve to have a definitive answer. Those people included Abbott's wife, Rachel Egan, and who he met after sending her a letter to explain why he thought she may be the Somerton man's granddaughter after a single dinner dominated by talk of death and DNA. The pair decided to marry. So this man
Oh my goodness.
This man found love over a unsolved case. What an interesting thing, you know? It's weird how the universe works, but sometimes it's beautiful. They now have 3 children, a girl and twins aged of 6. The girl is 8, and they're waiting to find out if Mr. S's identity. So this might not even be completely up to date because the video I watched last night gave an actual name. So we'll see. We'll keep on reading, and I'll let you know if it's not up to date because, like I said, he finally has a name. Whether he's related to one of us or not, we've kind of adopted him into our family anyway. That's so sweet. That is so incredibly sweet because there's this poor man never getting a name. Nobody ever came forward to say, hey, my husband, my son is missing. So that's so sweet. Because of him that has brought us together, Abbott said, his cause of death isn't really what is of interest anymore. It's more, who was he and can we give him back his name? And I like that thought process because everybody deserves to have a name when, they pass. They deserve to be recognized.
True. Very true.
So the man was found lying on his back in the sand, his head and shoulders propped up against the seawall on the Somerton beach in Adelaide, Southwest, on December 1st, 1948. He was smartly dressed with finely polished shoes and looked out of place on a beach where the city early risers were starting their day with a walk. 2 apprentice jockeys stumbled upon the body, but several other people told police they had seen someone of similar description laying there the night before. One man said he saw his arms move, so he didn't think to call police. Where he was lying was a fairly public place, not the sort of place a man would be likely to choose if he wanted to go somewhere and die quietly. According to yellowing notes from his 1949 inquest, Olive Neal recounted this. A examination of the body raised more questions than answers. There were no signs of violence. Almost all of the labels of his clothes were cut off, and he wasn't carrying an ID.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right? That's insane. Like, and everything makes sense very soon because everything has a reason for the clothing, for his notebook that he had, for a piece of paper they found in a sewn part of his pants. There's a reason for everything, and it's insane to now look back and go, wow, because people thought that this was a case of somebody that was a spy, a secret spy that possibly passed away or through some, means, because if you think about 1949, this is around the Cold War. So everybody was like, oh, he's a secret spy and somebody got him. So an autopsy was unable to determine the death, the cause of death, but 3 medical witnesses testified that it was not natural. Detectives theorize he may have consumed a poison so rare it could quickly kill, then disappear without a trace. No poison was found in his system. There are things like that out there. I'm a little surprised that he would do that, though, but we will never know why. So, I think the immediate cause of death was heart failure, but I'm unable to say what factor caused heart failure, said Robert Cowan, a government chemical analyst who examined samples taken from the body. And see, those kind of like poisons and anything that would be used have a half-life. So 70 years from then, it would be very, very hard to find the traces of any kind of poisons, especially if they were fast acting and fast leaving. The Somerton man was well built, around 40 to 50 years, 5 feet 11 inches tall, with gray blue eyes and gingerly brown hair that was graying at the sides. Pathologist John Cleland noted, many people who find their way to the morgue have toenails which are dirty and unattended to. His were clean. This man was a very spotless, well-kept man. His calf muscles were particularly pronounced, said Paul Lawson, the taxidermist who was asked to embalm the body. His feet were rather striking features, suggesting he had been in the habit of wearing high-heeled and pointed shoes, Lawson said. His calf muscles were high and well-developed, such as found in... Thank you guys so much for being here, by the way. I know that we're going through this in a long process, but hopefully we'll get a moment here to be able to sit and ask you guys what you think of the 2 cases. Some suggest he may have been a dancer, a black market trader, a sailor, or even a spy. So people were making assumptions about who he was. The deceased, to me, looked like a European. I would say he looked very much like a Britisher, Cleveland told the inquest. His hair was brushed back from the forward, and there was no part in it. He may have looked British, but his coat was distinctly American, according to the tailor who was asked to examine his clothes. He had either been in America or bought the clothes off someone who had been there. Detective Raymond Lean told the inquest, quoting the tailor, "Such clothes are not imported." So, the story of the unknown man made headlines across Australia and New Zealand. And his fingerprints and photographs were sent around the world, including to England, America, and any English-speaking countries in Africa. His inquest was heard. A letter dated January 1949, signed by FBI Director John Edgar Hoover, confirmed the U.S. had found no match for his fingerprints in its files. It's insane.
That is very, very insane.
Nothing found. Just this unknown man. My brain. That's why it always lived rent free back here. I would always sometimes go back to be able to, like, wonder if they ever figured out anything about him.
Right.
And I know that I wouldn't have been able to do too much myself, but I was like, I wonder. A number of people came forward to claim the body, but none of their stories withstood scrutiny. For example, one man claimed he was a pipe-smoking laborer by the name of McLean, but police said his hands were too smooth to belong to a laborer, and there was no evidence he had ever smoked a pipe. So that would have meant that in the autopsy, they didn't find any kind of evidence on the organs or on his hands. The man's body was embalmed to give police more time to identify him, and a plaster cast, or a death mask, was made of his face as a physical reminder of who he was. With no more leads to pursue, detectives released the body for burial in June 1949. That's 6 months. 6 months after, starting to find who this man was.
Right.
So, next comes the part that everybody was between his notebook and this little inscription that was found in his pants. This is why everybody was like, oh, it's a spy.
Uh-oh.
The link to Tamad Shud. Before the Somerton man was buried, the investigation had turned up many clues, which all led to dead ends. For example, tickets were found on his body suggesting that the day before he died, he had taken a train to Adelaide railway station from an unknown location before checking a suitcase into the station's luggage room. He bought a train ticket to Henley Beach, near Somerton Beach, but didn't use it and instead made his way to the beach by bus. Police found his suitcase at the train station. It contained the same distinctive orange thread that had been used to repair his trousers. Nothing in the bag supplied them with a name. Then, in April, came a breakthrough. Cleland, the pathologist, re-examined his clothes and found a hidden fob pocket containing a rolled-up piece of paper printed with the words Tamad Shud, meaning the end or finish in Persian. Ooh, it's so mysterious. Let me make sure that I'm...
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It was like, we wasn't ready.
I'm trying to make sure that we're all good. So, if you would...
Uh-oh.
If you would,
Like...
I'm so sorry, guys. This keeps on happening. I'm trying to switch browsers or any if that'll fix the situation.
In the meantime, if you guys don't mind, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button for those that are just tuning in. If you guys already have, just make sure you hit the likes and share the content, to other people that would love to look at this amazing podcast. For those that are out there, we do appreciate you guys, and we value you guys and love you guys so much. And for the new ones, we welcome you guys, and hopefully you guys like this content. It will get better. They giving you warnings. They giving you all kind of warnings. They're like, don't do it. I'm enjoying the content. Well, I appreciate you, Angel Arkham. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you'd like to get more of these episodes, which will be every other Thursday, click that bell so you'll get the alerts. Me and my co-host, Miss Crafty Fox, we are here to give you guys the best content that we can possibly give y'all every bi-weekly, every Thursday. I love this. I like scary stuff. I like talking about different things. So, I think these are going to be really good. These are going to be really, really good. Uh-oh. Well, I can I can get used to this. I mean, I'm used to doing, just chats and stuff like that. So, while she's getting that worked out, everybody that's here, how's everybody doing? Let's get a little meet and greet. Let's get to know one another. Q's and A's. What are some of the most scariest encounters maybe you guys ever encountered or anything like that?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I am back. I think
the
struggle is real.
Super real tonight.
Ooh, baby, that was a spicy one. All right, let's see if we can redo this one. So glad that could happen. It's okay. Soon I will have a new computer and this should not freaking happen. Oh, spicy. So, would you be so kind, Big J, as to pull up his picture and share it? That way I don't have to have any...
Oh my goodness, you asked me to do a lot.
It's
you
just
asking me to do a lot.
You
You gonna have me shutting down like you over there. Send me the
Oh, I did through Discord.
Would have never known. All right, let me pull it up.
All right. That helps because I have so many tabs open. You wouldn't think that would close out your computer like that, but hey, whatever. Go on with your bad self, computer.
Okay.
So as he's getting the picture back up there, let's go ahead and get back into the Tamad should part, shall we? Yes, sir.
I'm trying to remember how to do that.
You should be able to hit present and then choose a screen. Hit control and then scroll in, and you can or like hold control and scroll in, and you can... There you go. There we go. Now we got the Summerton Man back up. I'm so happy. This man's story deserves to be told. All right. Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I was just saying, like, hopefully you don't have me doing too many more assignments. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm just a talker.
If I can give you photos and you just show them, I'm happy with that, because then I don't have to, have the stream running, show the photo, and other tabs open to keep trying to do the cases. My computer's going to be like, I tap out.
Your computer's going to be like case closed and just shut down.
No kidding. I wonder if it, like I said, I wonder if it's the browser. I'll have to do some testing later. At any rate, so he bought, let's see here. He bought the plane, not the plane, but the train ticket from Henley Beach near Somerton Beach, but didn't use it and instead made his way to the beach by bus. Police found a suitcase at the train station and it contained the same distinctive orange thread that his suit was repaired in, or his trousers. Nothing in the bag supplied them with a name. Then in April came a breakthrough. Cleland, the pathologist, examined his clothes and found a hidden fob pocket containing a rolled up piece of paper printed with the words Tamad Shud, meaning the end or finished in Persian. Ooh, mysterious. The plot thickens. So those are the final words of the poem in Rubaiyat? The Rubaiyat? Don't ask me. And I apologize to anybody that's Persian watching. I'm so sorry. By 11th century, Iranian polymath Omar, nope, I'm not going to butcher that last name, and had been torn from the book, later handed into the police. So, that is crazy that they found a piece of paper. Like, they found the paper that went to the book, or the book that went to the paper later. That it wasn't even, like, on the guy. I guess it seems like it wasn't even in his possession as far as his briefcase. I think they say where it was, but that's just crazy that the two weren't close by. Okay, so an unnamed man said he found it discarded in his car on November 30th, the day before the Somerton man's death. He had no further information to give the police. So he just found it in his car. What? How does that happen? Like, did the Somerton man, like, I'm going to speculate, did the Somerton man just rip out this piece of paper and then go yeet into a car and then shoved it into a pocket or something? Like, what do you guys think? And also let us know in the comments down below. What do you think?
Yeah. Definitely tune in. Participate in this. We would love to hear your feedback and yeah.
So, Detective Brown explained that the poem itself simply means that we know what this world has in store for us, but we do not know what the other world has in store for us. We are on this earth. We should enjoy life to the fullest, and when it is time for us to pass on without any regrets. That's a really good poem. I like that one. I know that I wouldn't be able to read it and understand it, but I like the message behind it. I have to 100% agree. Cleland said the words supported his conclusion the man had taken poison with suicidal intent? With unaliving intent? That's so sad. Like, it's got me questioning, why though, man? Why did you do it? But unfortunately, a lot of those intents are met with no answers unless somebody writes a note. So I think the words were put there deliberately and indicated that intention was he was fed up with things, he told the inquest. So far, the book has offered the strongest clues of the man's identity. Now we get into the code and the phone number. As I told you guys, there's just the plot thickens. Ma'am, I need my mouse. She's like, do you really? So the book had 2 major clues inside of it. So this Tamad Shud book had, or this, the poem book had 2 major clues inside of it. The first was a handwritten phone number on its back cover that the police traced back to a woman who lived in the nearby Adelaide suburb of Glenilg. Don't ask me. I suck at pronouncing things that I haven't had pronounced to me first, so I'm trying. At least I get an A for effort. She was reportedly horrified when showed the death mask, though denied she ever knew the man. Now, really quick before we go into more about this code, what was talked about for her was that the reason that they suspected that she was upset or horrified, she was so horrified to the point that she almost fainted. And the reason they suspected that this was her reaction was they thought that her and the Somerton man actually were a thing at one point. And because she's about to get married at the time that they're asking her, and she even asked the paper to not publish her name at the time, because they were like, oh, we talked to this lady, and they could have published a name, but instead they did not, because she asked not to, because she did not want her fiance to know that she was questioned. What led people to think that she was the Somerton man's woman was, if we have a photo that comes up, I can bring it up. But if Jay, can you scroll into Somerton's man's mouth and get a little bit closer? So right next to his front teeth are the incisors that only about 2% of the world have teeth like this. And that the coincidence that her daughter or son at the time, her son at the time had the same teeth as the Somerton man. They were like, is it coincidence or is it his son? And she's just saying, oh, I don't know him, because she's afraid of an affair coming out. Isn't that interesting?
Very much so.
So, the unfortunate thing, though, that comes with that is that later on it was found through DNA that he was not, in fact, related to that child. So they were all back at square one all over again and wondering why she was so taken aback by his death mask. But it's interesting how kind of, I guess, damning in a way she made herself out to be, and we'll never know what her association was with him. So it's just it's interesting that the coincidence of, like, I think they said 1 in a million or something like that him and that child had the same incisors. It's just insane. So if you want to go ahead and scroll back out of that, you're more than welcome to. So near the phone number that was scribbled was a scribbled code that decades later would intrigue Abbott. So the original person that was trying to get his DNA and figure out who the Somerton man is, he was very intrigued and enthralled in this code. So Abbott set it as a puzzle for his engineer students in 2009. And by the way, this code was tried by engineers, by coders, by code crackers. Nobody could crack the code. No one. So, they thought it could be a secret wartime code, adding to the theory that the Somerton man was a spy. However, their investigations led nowhere. So they weren't the only ones that tried. They weren't. Others did too, and nobody could come up with an answer. Abbott and his students analyzed the letters and decided it lacked the sophistication of wartime code. It was more likely the first letters of a series of English words. For example, a list of places the Somerton man had visited or horses he had placed bets on, Abbott said. So this is what I mean by once they found out who he was and what his character was and what he liked to do, the Somerton man liked horses. He liked his horses. He liked to bet on them. And he was thinking, oh, well, I want to bet on, this stallion, and this stallion. And that was his way of remembering it later. After drawing a blank on the code, Abbott, like the police, traced the phone number to the woman who once owned it. But Joe Thompson had died. So the woman that they tried to ask a long time ago was no longer around. And we'll never know. We'll never, ever, ever know what her link was. And that's crazy that she too went to the grave with never giving an answer. So let's see here. Abbott then tracked down her son, Robin Thompson, a dancer with the Australian Ballet Company. He was also deceased, so Abbott looked for anyone related to him. He found Thompson's daughter, Rachel Egan, now Abbott's wife. Oh, that's how they that's where the connection came from. So, then Egan was adopted at a young age and wasn't aware of her potential link to the Somerton man. That's insane. The fact that she was adopted out. I wonder if something happened at a young age for her to be adopted out, or but we can only speculate. They're not going to give us that kind of information. But with Joe Thompson being as aloof as she was, I'm very curious about that woman.
Hello, Ms. Jinkies. How are you?
Welcome in, Ms. Jinkies. One of Abbott's theories is that the Somerton man is Robin's father, but his mother told police she didn't recognize his face because she had met someone else and didn't want to complicate matters. That's that I don't want my fiance to know. Tests of Egan's DNA against genetic material extracted from strands of hair found trapped on the plaster of Somerton man's death mask have been inconclusive. So she was not, or that was not, in fact, her grandpa. Had to think about that one for a minute. I was like, great grandpa. So, before the DNA test, Egan thought the two could have been related. Now she's not sure. They have an incomplete DNA sequence from Mr. S. It's very, very incomplete. I would have thought, though, that there might have been some sort of match there, and to date there hasn't been, she said. So, moving into the new DNA examination. Jay, would you like to zoom out of the Somerton man a little bit so we have him completely in frame? Control and scroll. There you go. The remains are now in Forensic Science SA lab in Adelaide, where scientists are determining the best way to analyze them. Wilson Wild, director of the Forensic Science SA, said that the process had been complicated by the length of time the remains had spent in the ground and the embalming process. And I don't know if anybody really knows this kind of information very well, but the embalming process back in the 40s was not the same as what we do today. It took a lot of trial and error for us to get to what we do today. Even the first embalming ever was Abraham Lincoln, and he was preserved not the same way that we do it today. So I'm not surprised that there was a lot of tissue damage and bone damage due to the preservative way that was used. Embalming chemicals are designed to preserve remains, but they do that by breaking down the protein inside the body so that there's nothing available for bacteria to consume. It does have a very detrimental effect in degrading the DNA. So that was also another issue with it. DNA was first used to solve crime in United Kingdom in the 1980s, some 30 years after the Somerton man died. The technology has advanced significantly since then. That's very true. Crimes are being solved every day, whether it be new crimes or old crimes, through DNA. And it's a fabulous science that we have figured out as human beings. I'm glad that we have it. We've gone from requiring quite a considerable amount of biological material, a sizable quantity, to being able to get a result from an amount of DNA that you can't even see with the naked eye, said Wilson Wild. If scientists are able to create DNA profiles, it'll be checked against people in Adelaide who think they might be related before the wider net is cast across DNA databases. This is where we're going to get into the fact that they tried against some of the people that they thought that the Somerton man would have been related to, / some people coming forward, to now they're going to create a family tree for this man. Australia has 3 DNA databases for law enforcement, including the National Criminal Investigation DNA Database, or NCIDD, which contains more than 1.2 million DNA profiles. That's a lot. Last year, the Australian Federal Police launched the National DNA program for unidentified and missing persons to try and identify some 500 sets of unidentified human remains. Wow, 500 sets? That's so many people that were unidentified and missing. Oh, wow. If a DNA match is found to the Somerton man, detectives will then attempt to find living descendants. I'm not holding my breath, said Abbott. Similar tricky cases have been solved in America, have taken anywhere between a few months to a couple of years. So, I'm prepared for a 2-year haul, if that's what it takes. I love this man's dedication to the Somerton man. That's such a sweet thing. The couple doesn't believe the DNA will expose Mr. S as a sailor, a spy, or any of the other fanciful theories around who he was and why he died. Perhaps he was a World War II black market trader or something like that, and that can explain a number of things. For example, why people possibly didn't come forward to identify him. Because, if he's in with a group of people that are doing something a bit dodgy, they wouldn't want any light shown on their activities, Abbott said. Understandable to a point. I mean, obviously, you can think from that side and be like, well, yeah, I'm not going to let Jimmy be identified because, I'm over here selling some dodgy stuff.
Huh.
So,
Yeah.
for the clothes, perhaps they were secondhand, and in those days, you tend to clip off the labels because quite often people wrote on those manufactured labels in ink to identify or indicate their name or something. That's another thing. So they say that the tags were clipped, and it was, but on his actual clothes, he had multiple names written. And it wasn't like multiple different names. It was the same name, but they were all spelled different. But at the end of the day, it all came down to either Jay Keenan or Keenan in some way. And they were like, so could this be Keenan when they first found the Somerton man? And that's how they came back with, okay, this is not him. This is, he must have gotten them from somebody. Now, as I was saying from watching what I watched last night, they were in fact hand-me-downs. They were from, I think, his sister's, so basically his brother-in-law. So his brother-in-law didn't need these pair of clothes anymore, and his brother-in-law went ahead and gave him the clothes, and it just so happened that the brother-in-law's, name was written on the jacket, the pants, everything. So this is why I say everything comes together, everything makes sense later, because at first everybody's like, oh, it's a spy, but really it's just some hand-me-down clothes, or really the code is just some horses he likes to or wants to bet on. Really, the Tamad Shud is just something that resonated with the man. So, let's see here. They don't have any further information from that, but that was a year ago. So 4 months ago, DNA research may have identified the Somerton man. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. Let's see here. Also, I want to ask you guys, how are you guys doing? How is everyone doing tonight? How is your Thursday? How was your Thursday? I'd love to hear about it.
Yes. Speak to us. Let us know how you guys are doing this lovely Thursday. We are one day before the weekend. I'm excited.
Weekend. Okay, I'm going to take this moment to take a good old sippy sip. And
All
then
right.
we can get back into some more of the English that I can't speak.
Right. Well, you go ahead and you drink and let me do what I do and I promote. So for those that just tuned in, if you guys haven't subscribed to me, Big J Lit or Crafty Fox, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content, make sure you hit the bell. Because you don't want to miss out on these alerts, because these podcasts are amazing, and I look forward to many, many more, and it's only gonna get better. And yeah, we hope your migraine goes away.
Yeah, I do too, because good Lord Almighty, I just went through a migraine last night, Miss Jinkies, and I'm with you on that. I could not function after a certain point at work. Getting some food ready to donate to Thanksgiving food drive. That's awesome, Nicole. I'm so glad to hear that. That's actually something I would like to work on here in my city.
Go.
I actually need to work with a few others that I know that are part of car communities and ask them if they want to chip in and help with that. And maybe we can go down to Tent City in Atlanta and give out some food. I would really like to do that. So let's see here.
By the way, appreciate the subscription. You are amazing. Do anybody in here besides, I know, Miss Jinkies, who's also co-owner of the Lit family, anybody in here that also streams or do podcasts, we would love to engage in that, and we would love to interact with you guys and maybe even have you on the show. Who knows?
Oh yeah. If you guys are into scary topics, true crime, we are here for it. If you want to be a part of this, especially if you come to the podcast with an idea for that topic of the night, I would love to hear it.
Yes, you all are all welcomed. By the way, if you guys got Discord, we would love to have you. Let's see. How did it set up?
Let me see here.
It worked on my end. It worked on your end?
I've got to see. Hold on one second. Oh no, quiet person. There's like no other way to be able to get to the... No, stop, please. No more. 1 second.
And Angel Arkham, I appreciate that subscribe. I definitely show some love back. And if you ever do plan on streaming, let me know. And if you guys got Discord, make sure you guys join the Discord. You can meet a lot of great people like S. Nicole, Miss Jinkies, and Crafty Fox, and Big J2 Lit. They got a lot of great people in there that also stream and show support. So you never know who you might meet in there. A lot of great people.
So no, it did not work on my end, but I can give the link anyways.
That's cool. Yeah, future reference, all you got to do is just go in there and set you either a timer or a command.
Right. I just haven't streamed yet on my side. So it's just one of those things that I don't think the bot... Yeah, I was going to Sunday, but I was not feeling well, unfortunately. So
it happens. Well, if you ever need help with any of that, I have learned.
Right. Let me pop it into my chat here. There you guys go. All right. So, getting into who the Somerton Man is. A researcher in the case of the Somerton Man says he has solved the decades-old mystery, identifying the figure as a Melbourne-born electrical engineer. I bet y'all were not expecting that. Was that on my end? I'm very confused.
My end.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Up over here. It's all nice over here.
Yeah, I got Stream Elements all set up, but I just have not had it hit yet. I guess I had to be... I think I had to be like logged in for it to start working. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Anyways, University of Adelaide researcher Derek Abbott, the same individual we were talking about earlier, believes the unknown man found slumped and lifeless on Adelaide's Somerton Beach on December 1st of 1948 was Carl Webb or Charles. So this is Charles Webb, guys. Hello, Mr. Charles Webb. Nice to have you have a name finally, sir. And when I heard that name, Charles, like Charles, looking at him, I'm like, he does look like a Charlie, like a Charles. I was like, I'm so glad that he has a name finally. And he was a 43-year-old engineer and instrument maker. So we finally have a name. We have what he did. We have an age. The case has long baffled detectives and amateur sleuths, and is regarded as one of Australia's most enduring mysteries because of strange clues linked to it, including the suspected code and a book of Persian poems. While the mystery man's remains were exhumed last year by SA police, Professor Abbott has in the meantime, persisted with his own independent efforts to crack the case. This man is determined, and I like it.
Very much so.
He said after using the hairs from the plaster bust of the man to gather DNA evidence, researchers in Australia and America have further narrowed the search to build out a family tree containing over 4,000 people. 4,000 people! That's insane! And it just also brings back the whole, like, how insane is this world? Like, the fact that you could just be associated to somebody that was a big mystery for a country for years, for decades. Working in conjunction with U.S. investigator Colleen Fitzpatrick, Professor Abbott said that in March this year, suspicions fell on Webb, who was born in 1905, but later identified as a person with no death record. That is insane. We just happened to come across this guy that had no death record. Let's look him up. So Professor Abbott, who last we spoke to the ABC about his work, added the final piece of DNA proof came into place on Saturday, triangulating to Charles Webb. That is insane. Mind you, this article was written Tuesday, 26th of July of this year. So that prior Saturday, they just finally figured out who he was.
Jeez.
So this year, he finally had a name. Professor Abbott said Webb was born in Footscray on November 16th, 1905 to Richard August Webb, 1866 to 1939, and Eliza Amelia Morris Grace, 1871 to 1946. So he didn't have parents to identify or say that my son is missing. That explains why we didn't have anybody come forward and say, my son is missing. He said their investigations had also found a link to the name T. Keene. Sorry, it was not J, but it was T. T. Keene, which was printed on the Somerton man's tie. So this was printed on the tie, it was printed on the jacket, it was printed on many things. And like I said, it was spelled in different ways. Like right now it's spelled the right way. It was spelled Keane. Sometimes it was spelled Kene. So this is why they're like, I don't know if this is the real name. If it is a name, where is it? Like, he said their investigations have found the link to the name, which was printed on the tie. It turns out that Carl Webb has a brother-in-law called Thomas Keene, who lived just 20 minutes drive away from him in Victoria. So it's not out of the question that these items of clothing he had with T. Keene on them were just hand-me-downs from his brother-in-law. Abbott, who said that there was a potential explanation as to why the Melbourne resident was in Adelaide. We can't say for sure, but we can speculate, he said. We have evidence that he had separated from his wife and that she had moved to South Australia. So possibly he had come to track her down. So the relatives alive.
Oh, wow.
The first cousin we found was on his paternal side, and the second one we found was on his maternal side. So it's triangulation from two different, totally distant parts of the tree. So that's very convincing. he tracked down and spoken to Mr. Webb's living relatives. I've spoken to them, except they're all of a generation well below him, and so none of them knew him and have no photos of their old family albums or in their garden sheds, unfortunately. So they didn't have a single photo of him. They didn't have a single photo of their grandparents or their grandparents, none of that. So I'm hoping as his name gets out there, there will be somebody that will have an old photo album in a garden shed somewhere. He added that there was a sufficient data evidence to definitively disprove any links with his wife, Rachel Egan, whose father, ballet dancer Robin Thompson, was believed to have been the potential descendant of the Somerton Man. So they finally definitively said, nope, y'all are not related. And that's got to be somewhat relieving, but at the time, that could have been probably a little bit frustrating, I can imagine. Because here you're trying to find the family to this man, and you aren't it. So it's not like you can help figure it out. The fact that he, Thompson, has a rare dental and ear condition matching the Somerton Man appears to be an extraordinary coincidence. I forgot about the ear thing. The Somerton Man, I do believe, has some kind of like dimple or something right above his ear, like it would be right about here. And like I said, so the teeth are in about 2% of the world. And I think I heard last night they said that the ear dimple is in about 1% of the world. So how crazy is it that Robin Thompson had the same teeth and ear thing that the Somerton Man had, and it was just all a coincidence?
Right. Like, wow.
How the universe works, right?
True. It's like...
Search continues. Professor Abbott said after more than a decade on the case, the discovery felt like submitting a mountain. It kind of feels like climbing Mount Everest and having what mixture of elation that you're at the top, but also tiredness and exhaustion. However, he said his work was not over. Now there's the historical work of actually digging further and finding out about the man's life, his circumstances, and what may have exactly led to his particular situation. So there's still work to do. And the police, the South Australian police, have been contacted for comment by ABC. Isn't that like the craziest thing? 70 years, and now this man finally, Charles finally has a name.
Wow. Yes. Wow.
So that is the case of the Somerton Man.
So, case solved?
Case half closed. They're trying to figure out why he was in Adelaide and what led him there. Maybe they could figure out how he passed away that way, because maybe he knew something that they didn't. Like maybe they can find some medical records about him.
True.
Lord knows, but I hope that they find their answer.
I agree.
So let's go ahead and find another case.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what are I was going to ask what everybody's ideas are for the weekend. If you guys want to talk about that.
Let's get to socialize, guys. Let's get to network and let's get to know one another and let's get this YouTube thing on and popping. Like, I'm really excited to be over here with Team Red. Like, you guys don't even know. Like, I'm like, you don't even know. Like, but yeah, It's been a roller coaster. I've been streaming for a little over 3 years. I started off on Mixer. I met a lot of great people like Miss Jinkies. Um, so many great people. I honestly wouldn't have been streaming if it wasn't for my cousin MFG the end. So I got mad love for my cousin. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have met all you great people. So shout out to him once again. And he took me under his wing on Mixer and taught me a lot of things. And here we are.
There's always the people that are either get you into it or the ones that definitely believe in you and keep you going.
Most definitely. Without you guys, I would not be here, and I wouldn't keep pushing for greatness. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Sincerely, thank you guys. Like, you guys mean everything, and I won't stop.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
You made me do the Harlem Shake. And I ain't even from New York.
Let's see here. Is this 8 days ago? Okay. So we got another cold case that was solved this year. If you guys are ready. Actually, I want to hear what you guys think about the two cases we've already talked about. What do y'all think?
Been playing a new still.
Is that a song? Sorry, that was a weird question.
I'm just here right now. Game, okay. What is it about? Give us details.
What kind of game? Is it a platformer? Is it a cozy game? Is it a?
She's usually known for playing cozy games.
Yeah. It's okay. You're okay. No need to be sorry. Harvestella.
I think they are wild, and how long that it takes to solve some of them or even not be able to solve them. I agree. I definitely feel like with the technology they have now, it shouldn't take as long as it is to solve a lot of these cases, these mysteries and stuff. So really surprised it took them that long to find his identity. Yeah, I agree.
I agree too. And there's also a case that was solved recently that was in the video last night that it was very disheartening to hear that the man that was allegedly convicted, or not allegedly, he was convicted of the crime, the murder that of somebody, but like back when they had really good, I mean, it's been years now that we have really good data or DNA testing and everything like that, and that even though they submitted an appeal for him and asked to have his DNA test against what was already there, and it got denied. So he went another year or two or even more, and then they finally asked the judge again, hey, I want to appeal. Can we please check his DNA against this, what was in this woman's mouth? And then they finally said yes. And what had happened was that he was not the match. He was absolved of the murder and finally released. And this man went in at the age of 30 something and came out at the age of 69. He missed half of his life because somebody would not check the DNA that was in this woman's mouth against him. And I just felt so, and the sad thing was his mama passed before he, like a month before he got out. So my heart just like hurt so much for him. And I mean, he has such a sweet outlook on it. Is he's just like, I've got my life back and I'm going to take it. And I was just like, and that's a quote from him. And I was just like, you know, you're a lot better than a lot of people that would have been in that situation. Right? I agree. Because I would have been all like, you know, because they're talking about compensating him. But at the same time, I'm just all like, and everybody's going to agree. You can compensate all you want, but it's not going to make up for the 30, years that this half a life that this man has been taken away from him. So, it's just wild.
It seems like the main goal sometimes is to just find a person to pin it on.
I agree with you. It definitely was back in the day. Especially when they didn't have the best DNA and when also times were different. And I'm not going to get into the underlying text of that, if y'all know what I mean. So I 100% agree with you. And it all depends on the location. It all depends on the police force. But 100%. There are people that it gets pinned to and there's like no reason for it. They should have been, I don't know how many cases have come back. And the thing is too is that the murderer was actually figured out after he was released, and he was already in prison for 50 years but died in prison. So like the murder also, and here's the other thing, the murder that happened to this woman didn't even get credited to this monster that already gone and kicked the bucket. Like they were like, well, yeah, he died, or like, yeah, he was the murderer, but he died in prison, so like what's the point? And I'm just like, all right, but like I guess at least you have a name, but like I don't know. I feel types of ways about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's insane.
um, so see if I can find that. That is not the man. And like the innocent, so there's this legal team that works with trying to help release innocent people. And yeah, it's kind of like he got away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's as real as it's gonna get. I mean, he basically did. Like, it was too little, too late to get him. He's already gone, which is very unfortunate. But they do say things happen for a reason, and I definitely believe in the justice and the thing called karma. So
Absolutely. So let me see if I can find this one. If not, I'll go back to the video and see if they have a name. Because that one was a wild case. The way that they handled it was atrocious.
I mean, because just hearing that, you think about it, it's like being wrongfully accused and then sitting in there for almost half, if not a little bit more than your lifetime. Like, and it still happens to go on like that too, unfortunately. But it seems like they're getting a little better at not just wrongfully accusing people, but that's still a thing and it's scary.
Maurice Hastings. So Maurice Hastings is a California man in prison for 38 years of his life. So here's his. Glad I went back into that video then. California man who spent 38 years in prison for murder is freed after DNA evidence points to a different person. Man who spent more than 38 years behind bars for a 1983 murder and two attempted murders has been released from California prison after long untested DNA evidence pointed to a different person, the Los Angeles County District Attorney said Friday. So this article, by the way, came out October 29th, 2022. The conviction of Maurice Hastings, 69 now, and a life sentence were vacated during an October 20th court hearing at the request of prosecutors and his lawyer from Los Angeles Innocent Project. That's the project that I'm talking about, that these people specialize in going, wait a minute, this person could be innocent. I don't think that this, like, they'll go through the case and they'll read it from cover to cover and they'll be like, oh, this wasn't properly looked through, wasn't properly tested. Please go back through and get the DNA test, and they'll fight for these people. They, like, most of the time the prisoners don't end up reaching out, but sometimes they do, and they'll take up the case. If the prisoner's like, legitimately, I didn't do it, please help me, they have me on death row. And other times they'll be like, yeah, this looks a little sketch, a little sussy, we need to take this up. So I prayed for many years that this day would come, Hastings said at a news conference Friday, adding, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not standing up here a bitter man, but I just want to enjoy my life now while I have it. Like, I guess I understand to a point of being all like, I just want to chill, man. But at the same time, I guess he had a lot of time to come to some kind of inner peace about that. We no longer have any confidence in the veracity of the case against Mr. Hastings, said District Attorney George, who noted that Hastings had consistently proclaimed innocence over the years. You are a free man today because of your perseverance. The system failed you, George said, per CBS Los Angeles. The system failed the victims. The victim in the case is Roberta Weidermeyer, she was essayed and her life extinguished by a single gunshot to the head. Authorities said that this is what happened. Her body was found in the trunk of her vehicle in Los Angeles suburb of Inglewood. Hastings was charged with special circumstance murder, and the district attorney's office sought the death penalty, but the jury deadlocked. A second jury convicted him, and he was sentenced in 1988 to a life in prison without possibility of parole. Hastings has maintained he was innocent since the time of his arrest. At the time of the victim's autopsy, the coroner conducted an SA exam, and a specimen of DNA was detected on with an oral swab, and the district attorney's statement said all of this. Hastings sought DNA testing in 2000, by the way. 2000, Hastings wanted a DNA testing, but at the time the DA's office denied the request. 2000. Hastings submitted a claim of innocence to the DA's conviction integrity unit last year. The DNA testing last June found that the DNA specimen was not his.
How's it going, big sister?
So, welcome in. Hello. The DNA profile was put into a state database this month and has been matched to a person who was convicted of an armed kidnapping in which a female victim was placed in the vehicle's trunk, as well as forced in essay of the suspect. The actual murderer, whose name was not released, died in 2020 when he was serving time in prison for a separate case of kidnapping and essay. The district attorney office said it was working with police to further investigation and involvement of the dead person in the case. Hello, welcome in. This is our podcast, Spookalicious. We talk about all kinds of things spooky, true crime, all different types of things.
Yes, welcome.
Yes. So that's what I mean is that it took him this long to finally get his claim. I mean, 2000. He could have been out so much sooner.
Right. And it's just unfortunate, like
it's ridiculous how the system fails people.
Yeah, like I really like it's unfortunate, there's so many people out there that have been wrong and accused for things that they didn't do and have to serve time, like so much time, and then pretty much by the time they find out, like most of their life has already been down the drain, and it's just sad that this happens.
And they think that compensation is going to do something to fix this, and it's like, no, like what? How could you think any kind of money is going to fix 30 years of my life and me missing my mama's passing? Like
that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Like, but yes, that is my big sister. Welcome in. How are you doing? Good to see you. I finally decided to take the advice and come to Team Red. I'm here on YouTube now, and I stream here Monday through Thursdays. Eventually, it's going to be Monday through Fridays, and I just, I'm really excited about this move. And my colleague, Crafty Fox, she'll be here with me bi-weekly every Thursday. We'll be doing our podcast, and we'll be talking about different Spookalicious events.
Oh yeah, I have to agree with you. And like every time that we come on here, it's just best that if you are a content creator, that you don't put your eggs all in one basket. So
right.
That's why I've been moving out towards Team Red as well as staying on Twitch, just because, why not do it on both platforms? So
right. And I think that it's very, very key. It's very important that people understand that there's more than one platform. You have Twitch, you got Trovo. I mean, there's so many different other platforms that you can stream on. Facebook. If you know that they do have some where you can go live on like TikTok, or you can go live on Instagram. Even Twitter has something like that. But I mean, there's just different different platforms that you can use to get discovered, and it's just like, why settle for one when you can have many other options? So, you
I
know,
agree. Because unless a place is locking you down, like some of the bigger streamers that are out there, where they'll have them sign a contract to be streaming on a platform for, you know, this or that reason. Like, there's been a few streamers that were on Twitch, and then they were, you know, basically bought off from Twitch by YouTube. Um, and they were like, hey, we can guarantee that you'll get this paycheck if you come over here. And so that in those cases, obviously they can't really, they'll have stuff in their contract probably that says you can't go to other platforms. This is the only one that you can for X amount of years. But if you have nothing tying you down, then you should explore. Don't be afraid to explore. The worst thing that happens is that it doesn't really go anywhere, but hey, you still have your backup.
right. And I totally agree with that. You know, until those contracts come to you, I mean, hey, there's all these different platforms that you can stream on and do podcasts on, and so many places that you can network with and find new people. So, like, if you ever, you know, seek interest in like maybe working with them, maybe doing a podcast or gaming with them, having like a co-host, co-stream kind of thing, that's what it's all about. Like, that is why I feel like it's very, very important. It's very, very key to growing and helping other people grow. You know, like when you guys network, you guys come together, become friends, and then next thing you know, other people see you stream, and then they want to get to know this person because like her friends could be like, oh, I like Big J's content. Let me just subscribe to him, or let me go follow him. You know, and then my people would be like, oh, I like Crafty Fox. She's cool. Let me go subscribe to her. That's how it works. And then from there, people share your content to other people, and that's how you grow.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And you know, that's another thing that, you know, I think Jay did very well touching upon earlier. You know, when he thanked his followers, I thank each and every one of you, whether it be Twitch or YouTube. Thank you so much for your support, because without y'all, I wouldn't be here streaming still. I mean, yeah, I may have been, but y'all make it worth it. So I really thank each and every one of you for the support and the love. It makes doing this so much more fun if I'm making you laugh or making you smile and making your day a lot better.
So, just in, my brother-in-law just hopped in. How is it going? How is it going? You know, I just, for the record, you know, for the one time, I know this doesn't relate to what we're talking about, but go Cowboys. I had to. But how's it going? How's everybody doing over there? Love you guys, and it's amazing seeing you two in here. You two love birds.
Yeah.
But yes, if you guys don't mind, you know, sharing some love to my colleague and subscribe to her, you know, show her some love. It doesn't hurt to subscribe. It's $0.00. I tell everybody this: it doesn't hurt to subscribe. You don't have to go in there, but just show them love. You know, like that's what the notification bell is for. If you do like their content, you can click on that, and then you'll get notified every time they go live or every time they post a video or a short. You know, you get those notifications. So I don't see why I wouldn't. All my people I rock with are amazing and they're entertaining, and yeah, you'll love them.
I have to agree. Like the same thing, y'all that follow me and watch me, whether it be Twitch or here, y'all go ahead and find Big J, give him a good follow. You know, it's kind of the same principle that I've told y'all when we raid out. You don't have to stay for long or you don't have to follow them, but hey, show the love, because it really doesn't cost you anything to show love.
I agree. It's $0, 0 cents.
Absolutely.
Yes, and a whisper in the building. Yeah, I just, I know. So this is what you would call like extra credit. So I know this doesn't relate as well, but so for those that like sports, y'all definitely should check me out Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can check her out on Twitch as well. So like I said, I'm moving all my content over to YouTube. Every Friday, I'll still be on Twitch, but yeah, Monday through Thursday, I'll be here, Team Red.
Yeah, I have 2 days now that I'm on YouTube, bi-weekly Thursdays, and every Sunday I will be coming over here. But on Twitch, I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So
Yeah, so y'all definitely show her some love. And if anybody else that's in here that is content creators or streamers or just want to support, make sure you guys subscribe to everybody in here. You know, just spread the love. That's what it's all about. You know, I definitely, this is me day in and day out, every day, Monday through Friday, Saturday through Sunday. I preach this to everybody. You spread the love and it'll eventually come back. Like, you know, just.
absolutely. I agree.
You
I
love
love
ASMR?
ASMR.
Oh, sis, I didn't know. Don't make me mute the mic and get some food. I mean, I already got it like set. I'm just ready, you know.
I had to do it. I had to, because I was all like, "Hi, I see my opportunity."
But yeah, so like, you know, for those that, you know, want to get her schedule, you know, put your schedule up, you know, like let them see so that they can support you. Like if they're on Twitch, they can, you know, they can go by and show you love there. But yeah, Monday through Friday I stream, but 11 a.m. I don't have a time where I end. I just on my feeling I end it. But it's been 2 to 3 hours, Monday through Thursday, and then Monday nights I do podcasts, and then Thursday nights I do podcasts, same time. So 7 p.m. Monday, Thursday, and then Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to probably like, you know, 2-3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So yes, he's really good at Mario Kart, and I want my rematch too.
You know, you like it, ASMR. See, my favorite ASMR is not eating ASMR, but cooking ASMR. I love to hear the sizzle, the like
Yeah.
spices being put on top of stuff. Like, I love it. The moment that they go into eating, I'm like, okay, next video, because I cannot handle the sound of somebody eating.
Oh, there she goes. I knew she was waiting for her moment. Listen, you can get this Mario Kart action. I want my rematch. All right. Just like Fall Guys, I'm shutting it down on Fall Guys. I don't see y'all talking about Fall Guys. Y'all can have that Mario Kart. We on that new stuff over here.
I still need to get Mario Kart and everything.
Jay gotta get on this game. Listen, Linda, listen, okay?
Belinda, listen.
y'all not gonna come at me on some Mario Kart. Look, I will get my other cousin and we can get this thing started. We can get a Mario Kart tournament going. Just saying. We can get last time we did a Mario Kart tournament. Who won?
Uh-oh.
Your boy won. It's blankets. Nice. Oh, we will. Oh, it's going down. Yo, we gotta plan this. I know Miss Jinkies is in charge of the tournament. So for all of those that have a Nintendo Switch and you got Mario Kart, make sure you check out the Discord, which I'm gonna put in here. Oh, caps. Definitely don't do that.
Let me just yell it at you.
Yeah, let me just yell Discord, get in there now. But yes, Ms. Jinkies will give y'all all the information y'all need. And yeah. Could you throw your Discord in there too? I'm pretty sure by the end of the night, we're gonna have you have a command, timers, we're gonna have you ready. We're gonna have your YouTube ready.
On my end. It's not working on my end. What a big stinky stinker.
She goes, I wasn't there, so that don't count. Listen, y'all can get the business now, okay? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all tune in for those podcasts. those lives because it's very entertaining. Because if y'all didn't know, Miss S Nicole is a co-streamer when it comes to certain days. When she comes hang out, she'll be sitting next to me. I'll even let her sit in the chair and talk to the chat. So you never know. You might see her play Fall Guys. You might see me. You might hear her in the background reading the chat. You never know. I got so many different plans. Listen, they're not ready for the Too Lit. They're not ready for the Big J and Too Lit. They're not ready.
Listen, Linda, listen.
They're not ready. And then Crafty Fox, she in the kitchen, look at the flick of the wrist. Hey, look at the flick of the wrist. She cooking up some content. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. And really excited and definitely appreciate you guys coming through, showing love and support.
Oh
man, listen.
That's my chair. She's like, right. I like claim. It's mine now.
Listen, she can have that chair right next to me, that one right over there. Or she can just sit right here and just commentate.
Nicole, that's where you get your own spectacular, gorgeous, throne.
We gonna get her a pink chair.
If she wants pink.
A purple chair. Look, I know she likes purple, so we'll do purple. Go. We'll get her a purple chair.
There you go.
I got you.
All right.
Anybody has any Q's and A's that they want to ask, or Yeah,
I was just about ready to ask you if you were if you wanted one more case before we closed, or.
Why not do one more?
One more? Okay. One more.
Extra content, y'all.
Gotta get that extra content. So, 56 years later, murder indictment comes in from 1966, slaying of a 10-year-old Chicopee girl. I'm guessing this is Native American. Do not come for me. I need to learn things, and I already know that. So let's see here. Why will you not let me? Oh, you on your bullshit. All right. They want your mama's birth certificate, your credit card information for you to sign up for news now. And I'm just over here like, all right, well, bye.
Oh, they're being silly in the chat. I love it.
They're reading ASMR style.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
You won't.
Yeah, you think I won't? Sex offender arrested in 1966. Death of 10-year-old Betty Lou. You thought. You thought.
Okay. Bravo.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness, they love it. Hey, see? A legend was born.
Oh. The fact that they want the ASMR. You were putting my
Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Not to say anything, but some men would be happy about that. Yeah. All right. So, a 73-year-old convicted SA offender has been charged in connection with the 1966 disappearance and death of a 10-year-old Massachusetts girl. A prosecutor said Thursday. So this was, by the way, this article was written November 3rd, 2022. So just wanted to make sure that we have that. Donald Mars was arraigned on a charge of first-degree murder in the death of Betty Lou Zowski. Nope, we're not going to go there. We're going to call her Betty, all right?
Oh, my.
Who left her... Oh, so it's not... I think it's a Native American name for an area, but what it is it's like a county. So it's a Chicopee home in the evening of May 26, 1966, and was found beaten to her life extinguished days later in the Westfield River in West Springfield. Prosecutors said that Hampton Superior Court in Springfield, that was a lot in one sentence. A not guilty plea was entered on Marr's behalf. So this monster that said that he didn't do it, he's just like, I'm not guilty. We'll see. His attorney did not object to his client being held without bail, but retained the right to seek bail at a later date. An email seeking comment was left with the defense. This man's 73.
Oh my goodness.
73. Like, first of all, let's take that in. Because that's a long time ago this poor child was just taken from us. While this investigation will not bring Betty Lou back to her family or grant her the opportunity to grow into a healthy adult that she and every child deserves, it is for them and for Betty Lou that we embark upon this journey to seeking justice. Hampton District Attorney Anthony Gillouni said at a news conference after the arraignment. By the way, slight side tangent. I would like to, at some point, Jay, bring up a case that was horrific and has stayed with me since the moment that I watched the documentary on Netflix. And
What would it be?
Have you ever heard of the little kid that his mom and his mom's boyfriend were actually charged, and with the death penalty was given to the boyfriend, the mother is in prison for life.
Oh my goodness.
And I would like to actually go into detail on this case because I don't think it ever got talked enough. I just feel like it needs to be brought to light more than it ever did. And it really breaks my heart that this poor little child was treated the way that he was and abused the way that he was. We won't go into detail about his abuse, but he deserves to have his story told. And I would really like to do that possibly if we do any kind of other true crime cases in the future. If you're down with that, Jay.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the football player. He wasn't a football player. The kid wasn't a football player, and his mama's boyfriend wasn't. It was a LA couple. I can't remember what the kid's name is. I would have to look it up. But it was one of the saddest things that I had ever heard. It legitimately made me cry during the documentary. And his story belongs to be out there. He deserves to be talked about because this poor child endured so much and had his life taken too soon.
We could definitely discuss that. How's it going, Shiny Hero, aka Nope? More Nope?
Nope.
How are you doing tonight? I'm surprised she's actually tuned in. It's like 10:05 East Coast. It's good to have you. It's good to have all of y'all. All the family is showing up. I love it. I'm excited.
Gabriel. Gabriel was his name. Gabriel Fernandez. I had to find out the name.
Can I ask what the documentary was called?
I can definitely look that up really quick. Because they actually, and I'm going to warn you guys before you go and watch the documentary, if it's still
I agree.
If it's still on Netflix, be warned, it's not graphic in the content that it shows, but it will detail what he went through. And I'm not joking when I sobbed for this child. I think it's called The Trials of Gabriel Fernandez. Yes. It was The Trials of Gabriel Fernandez on Netflix.
Oof. I watch documentaries, so I could watch it.
Yeah, just be prepared. It's very hard to stomach.
Ugh.
And it's not even because you see things. I mean, yeah, they'll show a few pictures of like the report of where they found abuse on his body. And because when he passed, they had to do an autopsy to find out what the extent of the abuse was. And yep, the teachers all knew. Child services knew and came by multiple times and didn't find anything wrong and kept letting him stay with his mother. And then after they would leave, they would abuse him. That's what I mean. It's like everyone failed him. And they actually tried to go after the child endangerment office of LA and the teachers and tried to prosecute them like they did the mother and the boyfriend, but they didn't win that case because it was though they felt or though they knew that they messed up and all that kind of stuff, like basically the judge was like, well, they didn't physically do it to him. They may have known, but like they can't be charged with his murder. And I was just so like, I have so many mixed feelings about that. It was a mixture of the mother made her boyfriend do it and a mixture of the boyfriend was a hothead. And like, there's a part in the documentary I'm going to share that is like, basically, Gabriel tried to talk to his mom about her abusive situation because she was in an abusive relationship with this guy. And when he was like, please, mama, why don't you leave him? Things are better. You're happier. You're not crying as much. The boyfriend came in at that time and saw that Gabriel made her cry. And that's what led to his passing, was that the boyfriend got so upset that he did so much abuse and damage to this child that I literally, if you can stomach it, and even if you aren't sure that you can, I know that it's hard of a topic to watch, but the child deserves to have people know more about it. Because he's not the only one. After him, there was a 13-year-old that because he said that he liked boys, that his mom and his mom's husband or boyfriend beat him too and then drowned him to death. So like, this needs to be known because LA is not the only one that's doing this, that's turning a blind eye, social services to the children. every state has their problem with this, and we as people need to educate ourselves so that we can better stand up against it. It was a mixture of, so one of the beatings was because they thought that he was gay. I will agree with you. But the final nail in this whole situation was because Gabriel was trying to plead with his mother to leave her boyfriend, leading her to cry, which led the boyfriend to being pissed off and ultimately ending Gabriel's life.
So sad.
I agree. It only works for certain people. So I would really like to cover that case. It's not necessarily scary as much as it is sad, but it deserves to have light brought to it because both Gabriel and the other child that was beaten and murdered, they deserve to have their story told so that people know.
I agree.
So, back to Betty Lou's case, though. Betty Lou's parents, Stanley and Mildred, have died, but authorities have been in touch with surviving members of her family, he said. This is the District Attorney Hampton. The victim left her family's home after taking a phone call from what she told her parents was a girlfriend. Clooney said her parents reported her missing later that night. Her beaten and mud-covered 4'7", 75-pound body was found just offshore by boys fishing in the Westfield River in the town of West Springfield, he said. The case of the death was determined by the officer of the chief medical examiner to be multiple blunt force injuries to her head, and then a drowning. Because she left her home voluntarily, investigators believe she knew her attacker. She was laid to rest on June 2nd, 1966, which would have been her 11th birthday. Mars, who would have been a teenager at the time of Betty Lou's death, was linked to the killing as long ago as 1997, but not arrested. So he was linked to it, but he was not arrested. Welcome in, Nonsense. So glad to have you here. Going? So, Glunny's cold case unit refocused on the case in the last few months. He said, although he did not disclose what evidence led to Mars, according to the state SA offender list or registry, Mars was convicted of child assaults and battery on a child under 14 in 1995. He is listed on a level 3 SA offender list, considered the most likely to reoffend. His most recent address was in Bedford. He attended the arraignment via video, and although he did not say anything, he shook his head several times as the prosecution read a list of past criminal cases he has been involved in.
All right, you have a good night. Thank you for coming through, and we'll see you next time. And much love, much love. Love you, sis.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful day tomorrow. I know you can because you're wonderful. And we will see you hopefully next time.
And you have a good one too, brother-in-law. I see you getting cozy, but remember, go Cowboys.
So that is the information that they have devolved about her case and who may be the alleged murderer. Thank you so much. So, out of all the cases, wrapping up, it's crazy to believe that, something that happened however many years ago can be solved today. I'm just glad that we have that kind of technology today. But I'm also very surprised that a lot of these have not been solved sooner. Like, there is a cold case file of a little boy or girl, they're not entirely sure, that was wrapped up in I think it was either a blanket or carpet and stuffed into a box from a crib back in, like, I don't know, the 50s or something like that. And they found this child on the side of the road, and they still don't even know the name. They don't know where they came from, who did it to them. They just have the child and their last meal.
That's unfortunate.
So I'll have to see if there's any development in that, and if there is, I'll let you guys know for sure. So let us know either in chat now or in the comments down below what you guys are so far enjoying about this podcast, even though we're into it only 2 episodes. What would you also like to see? Because I would like to hear some feedback. What would you like to see us talk about?
Yeah, most definitely. We would love to see what you guys would like to see as far as like content. Like if you want us to talk about certain topics or maybe add more conversations into our podcast or maybe even have guests in here. Like we would love to hear all y'all's feedback and yeah. I'm always checking. So don't be shy. Feel free to hit the chat and hit the comments. And for those that are tuned in and for those that are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, even share the content. And don't forget, if you want to see more content like this, hit the bell.
Absolutely. So what do you think, Big J, about all these cases?
Very tough. It's everything that it just it brings me to that conversation I have mentioned a few times. It's hard to just walk outside at night. Like you never know. Like you wake up every day, you're grateful to be alive, and you never know what can happen. So it's just like always be cautious, always be prepared. You never know. You never know nowadays, and a lot of people take life for granted. Like you never know when it's your last day or anybody's last day. So with that being said, I always tell people, don't be mad at people. Don't hold grudges.
Amen. And even if it means like you have situations where, I'm not going to sit there and tell you to 100% not to hold a grudge, because there are those people that may deserve that anger that you hold inside towards them. The thing that I have to say is, if you can, at least make the peace for yourself, because you deserve it more than they deserve it. It doesn't mean that you have to forget what they did. It doesn't mean that you have to forgive what they did. Just make peace and say, you know what? I don't have them around. Let me rid this poison of myself. And that way I can live in the here and now, and I can be happier, and I can enjoy life as is. And I can't agree more with you, Jay, on those points that, you don't know when anybody's last moments are. You don't know when their last day is. And you don't know when your last day is. And each and every day is, a miracle blessing, however you want to phrase it for yourself, it is a big deal. So, as much as we all get caught up in the rat race of life, remember to cherish your small moments. Remember to cherish your life and your friends and your family that you have around. And remember that, to live life to the fullest, because you just never know, and you don't want to go out going, man, I wish I did this or that. Like, you want to make sure that when you go, if God forbid it's too early, it's at least you did as much as you did, and you're happy with how you lived your life.
Right. Because nobody wants to live their life with regret.
I agree. So on that note, and I agree with you, Nicole, forgiveness is for yourself, and you're absolutely right. It is. And, the other thing is that even if it's not a forgiveness of someone, or maybe it's a forgiveness for yourself for something that you went through, something I've learned myself / in therapy is always treat yourself with love, respect, and kindness. Treat yourself the way you would want to be treated.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I think that is our last case of the day. And I think that unless you're wanting to go longer, I think that's where we're probably going to sign off.
Yeah, I just want to thank each and everybody for coming through, showing love and support. You guys are truly amazing. We appreciate all your guys' love and support, and we appreciate you guys' feedback, because I know there's going to be some feedback. I know you guys want to see some kind of content. I know you guys want something particularly to be just thrown out there and just discussed. So feel free to hit us up in the comments. And if you guys got me on any of the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, don't be shy. Hit me up, and we can work something out. Whether you want to be a guest or if you just want a certain topic discussed, let us know. We're here. And you can also reach her as well.
I was just about ready to say, yep, same thing here. You can always reach me too. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Twitch. I mean, any way that you think that you can grab a hold of me, you can go ahead and do so, and let me know. Let me know the topics that you guys would like to hear. I mean, we'll cover anything that is spooky, anything that ranges from, either thanks, let's not meet again, to even there's what is it, like fake creatures that are made on Reddit. I love to peruse Reddit and find like creepy things to read and stuff. So even if it's scary stories that you guys want us to read, let me know. I'd love to try anything you guys want to see. So
even reviews on things, video games.
Reviews on video games. We could talk about lore behind video games. We could also talk about lore behind movies, or the back example that I've brought up with Jay is the curses behind movies, like how they thought, or they'll still say to this day, that the set of what is that one movie? Exorcism, or The Exorcist is cursed because a few of their members passed away or were injured. So we'll talk about any kind of different topics, as long as it is definitely something that we can cover for sure. So right. Well, I just want to say, I hope that you all have an amazing night and an amazing day tomorrow. I know that you can, because you are amazing. You are loved. You are welcome here. This is a no judgment zone, and we would love to have you in either Discord, and we love your faces.
Thank you guys once again, and see you next time.
Spookalicious out.